Good morning, the COT data video for the week beginning the 14th of October 2024. We can see the euro has declined, but also so has the dollar as well. I'm actually just teetering below zero, which is the first time this has happened since we've been looking at the COT data in the quasi-DB service. So that's obviously a big deal. Whether or not we're going to see continuation on that is possible. I just want to show you something that I put into Discord. There's two things actually. There's the Euro USD. We've got to be aware of the yearly pivot at 109.08. Okay, and this is from Jeff York, and he's got a really good Twitter page, and he looks at the yearly pivots. So he also looks at the monthly pivots as well. But a lot of the time, this would have gone unnoticed, this key level, and you're probably not aware of the yearly pivot acting as a support above 109.08, right? So we're sort of looking for buys above that. Below 109.08 sells, okay? And also just a bit from Goldman Sachs, and they're just saying that near term they're looking for euro as like strength near term and a little bit of dollar weakness, and indicating that the current environment favors the euro, and to do the yield direction rate volatility, and because we're going to probably be going higher on equities, the yields are going to stabilize and there's going to be less rate volatility. It can add to some weakness in the dollar, and we can see on the treasuries, we can see the starting to flatten. If the yield curve flattens, we could steepen. If we steepen, we're going to be risk on, traditionally speaking, and the indices are going to fly, and we'll probably go to 6,000 on the S&P and beyond. So that's what they mean by the stabilizing of the yields. So if that stabilizes, the next step is a steepening. A steepening is risk on, traditionally speaking. So just a little bit of information there of the euro and the USD. Okay, remember this level. It's important because it's yearly pivot 109.08. Okay, so don't be caught off guard. Technically speaking, we're actually quite bullish above that. Below that would be bearish. Sentimentally, on the other hand, is that you'd have to check that and check your sheet. Check fxssi.com. But technically speaking, above the yearly pivot, it's a good support. Okay, so let's come back to the COT data. So we can see you did see a little bit of weakening on the dollar, which is what Goldman Sachs was saying, and looking for a little bit of euro strength potentially near term. I think we may see this come to fruition, but when it comes to the election next month, I think the dollar is going to strengthen and the equities are going to probably dump a little bit. Okay, maybe even massively. We don't know. So that's the euro and USD. Okay. So this is going to probably work out up to the elections, okay? Euro, no, we'll keep the euro on for a second. We'll just look at the yen. And of course the yen has ticked down. And so that's a big deal. Okay, so that would have been an EJ trade. That would have been an EJ long. An EJ short had we that crossed over, but we can see them moving in parallel down. So if that yen ticked higher, it would have been an EJ euro yen sell, but currently we've seen weakness in the yen, euro, and the dollar. Okay, so probably a little bit of a tricky week. Don't forget we've got Columbus Day on Monday, and we've got that data coming out from China, and it's probably going to underwhelm the markets. They've released some stimulus, but it's not like a complete bazooka. So we've got to remember that. And that's going to impact the Aussie and risk assets on Monday. And because the US markets are closed Monday, I think we're going to have a very volatile open Tuesday. Okay, pending whatever happens and how the markets react to that China stimulus. Okay, so we're probably going to have a very volatile Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday morning open. Okay, keep the euro, no, take the euro off, put an Aussie. And so that's surged. So this is from Tuesday. Remember, the COT data is from Tuesday. So we'll have to wait and see what happened to the China stimulus. And that could easily just come down quite heavily, and we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so there's the Aussie currently strong, and we're probably going to get an AJ buy because of the Australian dollar is going to be stronger than the yen. So be careful with Aussie yen. We're above its 200 daily moving average as well on AJ. So technically speaking, that's quite bullish. Okay, so be careful. Don't really want to fight that, but we'll have to wait and see what comes of the China stimulus news. Okay, so Aussie off, pound on. Pound just went sideways, pretty much sideways. Wow, yeah, 937, 931. So ever slight tick down on positions. Still bullish because we're above the zero, just sideways. Okay, so a bit tricky. CAD has been weak, and yeah, and down we come, minus 89,000 from 65,000. So quite a decrease there on CAD. So be careful with CAD. Gold's going to be strong, isn't it? Well, I mean, we ticked down, but we're still mega strong. 278, 315. Wow. So we've had a decrease, but we can say we're trending higher. I think I'd be a little bit wary if we break that, maybe 274, 278. So that needs to act as a support. We may have that as a resistance potentially. And don't forget the correlation of gold and indices as well. Might be worth just showing you that in case you're not aware, because you're probably not in Discord. And so just to say is that this is the gold and YM, which is the Dow Jones Mini, and see how they're correlating. So if we go risk off, expect gold to fall. Okay, so don't think it's going to act as a safe haven because it's tracking the Dow Jones. Right, so it's very much acting not as a safe haven right now. We may see a deviation, but currently they're correlating. Okay, so let's come back to this spreadsheet. And also don't forget, you're welcome to join the Patreon if you want to get Discord access. We've got a load of analysis and setups every day as well. And so currently for gold, there was them selling it. So this acted as a support. And the hexagon's always a what if scenario. What if they buy? What if they sell? Okay, so it looked like they were going to go long, but they actually ended up selling. And where gold ended up, we ended up here because of that circle. Okay, so it's just important to keep an eye on your Discord. And there's the ES, which is the S&P and gold correlation. So if we do go risk off, which is probably a little bit unlikely, expect gold to fall. All right, so be a little bit careful there. Okay, gold off. We'll look at the New Zealand dollar. How are we looking? To sideways. Yeah, to sideways. Just 154. Oh no, that's the dollar from before. I can't show you, but you can see we're just gone sideways. It's not accurate. Oh, that's a 9. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't show you that. It will tell you in the New Zealand dollar tab, but you can see we're just gone sideways slightly. At the slightest tick down on NZD. Okay, and lastly, we've got the Swiss franc, and that's it. So we're just sort of consolidating within that high and within that low, and we're probably just going to chop quite a bit, quite strongly, I think, until we see a sustained break. It'd be nice to see a break of that. Be nice to see a break of that, but I think we're just going to churn, and I think we're just going to chop, and so that's that. So just a quick one on the robot. We had a good week. We had 67 pips. Doesn't sound like a lot. It isn't, but at least it's positive. It's profit. And if you want to join the robot, then you're more than welcome. It's free to join. But if you want to copy the bot, you have to be a Patreon subscriber. Okay, so it's a fair deal. So you need to be a basic tier or above, and you get robot access. And so far it's doing well, but we're just we chopped quite a bit on the Euro USD, but I think we're possibly going to have some support at that yearly pivot And so I think what will happen that these sells will be negated by the buys. We're currently flat because we're hedged, but with any luck, we'll trigger some buys. And I think this is looking like it's going to probably pop higher. And it's also worth noting that FX, so I've got a new patch. So remember to update your terminals and restart your terminals for next week. And that patch note was to do the profit ratio indicator on MetaTrader 5. So it's not really worth making a video for because it's only a small update. Okay, so just remember to trade safely, and remember you're welcome to join the robot. It's t.me/q2b bot_signals, and then that's the robot. I wish you a good day, and I'll speak to you soon.